Hi, I'm Rhiannon Faith, and I'm here to tell you a story. So this last Tuesday, and I had intended to do this message on Tuesday, but Tuesday got away from me and now it's Friday. So here we are, and this story was still super relevant. And so I had to share it because it was kind of a big deal. Not like the earth-shattering sort of big deal way, but a big deal. In any event, on Tuesday morning, it's a normal morning as usual, getting ready. My son's getting ready. We walk out to take him to school, and I park outside right now. And the night before that, we had a pretty good monsoon. Was we were driving home, and I was thinking to myself when I saw the low tire light come on, that's inconvenient. But this happens every time there's a storm. The temperature drops quite a lot. With it being so hot, then the air pressure reduces in the tire. And, we have these fun times. Everybody's lined up around the discount tire to get their air checked the day after a monsoon. So I'm not thinking too much about it, but when I get back in the car, my low tire air light is on again. And I just had this feeling, I think actually it was my subconscious telling me that I had seen something that I didn't fully register at the time, because in my busyness to get in the car and get going, I wasn't totally paying attention. So I stopped the car. I barely moved, like an inch or two. I stopped the car, get out, decide I'm going to visually inspect the tires. And it didn't take me long to notice that the driver's side rear tire, flat, total pancake. Nothing salvageable about that. And I recall that the last time I had a flat tire, I put a donut on my car. And when I put the donut on my car and drove myself to the discount tire, it was discovered that in fact my donut had also acquired a screw along my adventure. So I don't know what the heck is going on in Arizona where everybody decides to discard things that could puncture other people's tires, but rude, you know what I mean? So I have a flat tire. That's inconvenient. Well, normally it would be inconvenient. Today it was epically inconvenient. So my husband had left for a business trip at 4 a.m. So there was no help from my husband, who had a marvelously functioning vehicle parked at the airport. So could I go and get his car? I mean, I don't know, maybe. I have no idea where his spare key is. And obviously he took his key with him. I can't get a hold of him to find out where the spare key is because he's on a flight to go on his business trip. So here I sit, and I'm trying to think of what else I can do, and I'm racking my brain, and I'm thinking, this stinks. I do not want to be starting my Tuesday morning like this. And so I decide, you know what, I'm gonna do AAA. And then I go and look at my wallet and realize, yeah, I don't have AAA anymore. Whoops, my bad. So I decide I'm gonna sign up for AAA. Well, AAA has caught on to people doing things like this. And I would have been happy to keep the membership with AAA. But now what they do, when you register a sign up for a new account, they hold your account for 48 hours. You can't use roadside assistance for 48 hours after you sign up for the account, because presumably people get the account, use the service, cancel the account. Because of course a $69 or $59 annual fee is cheaper than the who knows how much for an actual tow truck driver to come and help you. So back to the drawing board. That's not going to help me. And then I thought, maybe I'll check our insurance. Well, I can't log in. It's just like comedy of errors. I don't know where the actual policy statement is. The login on the app didn't save the password and information. I think my husband set it up, so I'm not sure what exactly he chose as the password. I went through a couple of things to try. None of them successful. So again, back to the drawing board. Well, I figure out, you know what, I'll just call and I'll see if I can possibly find out whether or not we have this coverage. So I'm able to get a hold of somebody over there. They don't even check anything. They just start a roadside assistance thing. So at least I'm going in the right direction. Contact my son's school, let them know he's going to be late. Hopefully he's going to be there, but he's definitely going to be late. And again, I can't actually solve this problem in and of myself because I don't have a donut. I don't have a spare tire. Even if I was to say even if I was to go to like a discount tire, take an Uber there, come back, I'm only going to have the tire. I'm not going to have the wheel. The wheel is on my car. I don't know very many Uber drivers who are going to be keen to me coming with my greasy, gross wheel, throwing it in the back of their truck or car, and schlepping it on to the discount tire. So I'm stuck waiting for a tow truck driver. So initially, it says it will be between 90 and 120 minutes. And I'm like, that's aggressive, but whatever. I'm safe at home, totally fine. It's inconvenient. My son's not getting to school on time. I tried to convince him to take an Uber, by the way, just so I could get him to school, because I really I hate the thought of them missing school for any reason at all, unless illness. And so, because that's how I was as a kid, and that sounds like, brown nosy or, goody two shoes, but it's legit. Like, I once got in an argument with my dad because he was going to, as punishment for me not doing the dishes, try to keep me home from school. In my very dramatic 14-year-old voice, I said that I would call CPS if he tried to keep me home from school. Yeah. Warfare. It's amazing I didn't die that day. But that was actual punishment for me, trying to keep me home from school. So my son, I'm trying to get to school. He's not having it. Mom, I'm not going to take an Uber by myself to school. And I was not about to pay a round trip just for drop off. It's just not going to happen. So again, here we wait. So I work remotely, no big deal. I can do my job. My son is thrilled to have the opportunity to just play video games in the morning. So, it's all coming up roses for him. But I'm still mulling over how I'm going to undo this. I also had to undo the AAA membership that I had just implemented. So I had to make another phone call for that. So time ticks by. I'm checking the app to see the progress of when someone, if ever, is going to show up for the tow truck. And it was a while. So 90 minutes comes and goes, and it's still saying it's going to be 90 minutes. That's curious. So then 90 minutes becomes arriving shortly. Not even a time frame anymore. Like, okay, cool. So they're going to be here soon. So I'm watching and stalking my window, like, surely this person is going to pop up and arrive anytime now. They didn't. It was 3 hours. Spoiler alert. Okay, 3 hours. Now, I don't care that it takes that long, honestly, because I'm grateful. And again, my tire is flat. I don't have a donut. I can't solve this problem except for a flatbed tow truck. And surely there are fewer of those on the road than a standard. But I digress, okay? 3 hours. So he finally shows up, and I'm elated. And, gone are the days, for all good reasons, I'm sure. But he's not going to drive me anywhere. I had put in that he was going to take it to the discount tire. It's not an advertisement, but take it to a discount tire near me so that I could get it repaired. So thankfully, Discount Tire didn't need to see me in order to do this, so I saved myself some time. Called them ahead. They're going to receive the car. Fantastic. All is well. I was really surprised, though. I don't know if this is just this company thing or a new thing, but when the guy loaded up my car, as he was arriving, I was expecting he was going to give me a business card or show me something that validated he was who he said he was, even though I'm in the middle of a neighborhood. And you don't know that I'm here unless you were dispatched to come here, but I don't know you. So could you give me something that feels official so I feel a little bit warm and fuzzy as you're loading my vehicle onto the back of your flatbed truck to take it away? No, none of the above. Is there any paperwork I can fill out? Do you need anything from me? I say, you need to see my ID. He's like, no, we're good. Waves me off, puts my car up there, and gets ready to drive away. And I'm like, okay, I should at least take a photo of my car on this flatbed so it would be identifiable and get his license plate. So I do these things, in an abundance of precautions. Call the Discount Tire, car's on the way. Fantastic. We'll look at it and we'll get back to you. So here's the thing. My tires were kind of on the last leg, and I knew that, and I knew I needed to take care of it, but it's one of 1,000 things that I deprioritize because there's always a number of other things that I need to do. And so I needed to replace my tires, at least 2 of them. I knew, the front tires, but I didn't know how bad it was. Well, it was bad. So I get a call from the Discount Tire guy, Victor. He was lovely, very helpful. And he says, so here's the thing. When I went to inspect your tires, your front tire, your passenger side front tire, it cut by hand. The metal stringing through on the inside cut my hand. Whoops, that might have gone too far. So seriously, praise the Lord, because here's the thing. Arizona driving is not for the faint of heart. The freeway, I can only imagine how hot the actual asphalt is, but the air is 115 degrees. So the asphalt has got to be exponentially hotter than that, right? I have been driving on this. I think the tires actually melt as you drive on the freeway. I'm just, being dramatic. That's hyperbole, but maybe they do. I'm losing layers of tire on the freeway, and apparently to the point where I have little wires poking out on the inside, poking this poor man in the hand when he tries to inspect the tread remaining on my tires. So the front tires need to be replaced for sure. So here's what's amazing about this. I drove the night before, and I've been driving on these tires, but I drove the night before in a storm, which I had no traction issues with, so kudos to these tires holding it together. But it was the back tire, which was otherwise in perfect condition, that got punctured by a foreign object. And so how does that happen? Like, what a God thing, honestly, because if I had had a blowout in the middle of the storm or whatever, it could have been catastrophic. And seriously, thank God that is not what happened. But what prioritized me getting my tires replaced? Having this foreign object jam into the side of my tire. And coincidentally, so I needed the front 2 tires replaced, but the back tire, because it was in terrific condition and under warranty, was replaced free of charge because I had the warranty. So in case you're ever curious about getting warranties for your tires, the answer is yes. Okay, just do it. So I got the front 2 tires replaced. I get the back tire replaced. My other tire, fantastic condition. Nothing needs to be done. Wonderful. I asked the gentleman if he happened to have the foreign object that was in my tire, because he said it's kind of unique. And so as a show and tell, this is the item that was in my car tire. It is a part of a drill bit, just the top portion missing. Rather remarkable. And he said it was in this rather radical angle, so there was nothing they could do to repair the tire, which made it even better because I was a little worried they were going to do a fix, and then I would have some half-assed tire, that's going to run out on me at some point in the future. So that would have been unfortunate. In any event, none of those things happened. So the debacle continued. Now it's about noon, just before noon, and I look at the clock and I tell my son, okay, well, I'm going to take you to school. So I hustle him over to school, get him there. He's able to get there before lunch, glory be, because I just did not want him to miss a whole day on something so frivolous as my silly flat tire. But the whole time, every aspect of the day and all of those different series of events, it was like funny farm of chaos. And all I could do was laugh because, one, again, I was completely safe. My son was safe. There was no injury. It was expensive. It was an expensive error. But what a lot of grace and mercy to have this happen in my driveway where we can be safe and secure. I could continue to work while this was all going on, aside from the phone calls and interruptions to try and coordinate the care or resolution. And then by the time my husband had landed and I had to tell him what was going on, we were solidly in process of solution. So it was wonderful. And I felt terrible because he always wants to be there to help and solve the issues and not have me facing things on my own. And here I was wholly in the thick of this, physically by myself, but I felt his support and he was rallying to make things happen and get it done on his end as well. But it was a wonderful opportunity to remember, even though something is frustrating and even though things do not go according to plan, sometimes it's gracious mercifulness, there we go, mercifulness that it didn't turn out the way that it could have. Because really, what's to say if that, really horrible foreign object had not made its way into my tire, I didn't get on the freeway and get into an accident with my son driving him to school because the tires were gone. And then I would have all of the treachery of injuring myself, my son, somebody else potentially, damaging my car, and still needing tires. So, those setbacks or hiccups along your day, even though they might be numerous, and in sequence, rapid fire, give it more. They might just be to your benefit. And in this case, it definitely was. So anyways, keep that in mind. So I made it to Friday and I have survived. It was funny though, because in spite of all of the ridiculous comedy of errors of that day, the very next day I was saying something to my son about having forgotten to take care of something, and he said, well, what was going on yesterday that you didn't get it done? I was like, the tires? Oh, that's right. That happened. So I guess the good news is he's so accustomed to me navigating chaos that he is just like, blip on the map, didn't even register. Oh, that's right. That happened. Because I didn't freak out. I didn't unravel. I didn't get belligerent or angry. I was a little miffed, like, oh my gosh, are you serious? But that's how I responded, with like, confused laughter. So, don't forget to just be present in the moment and recognize that, there might be more to the story. Anyways, that's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Apologize for my language. So come back another time. I'll tell you another story. Thanks.